You look at an AI-generated layout. It is clean. It is polished.
Yeah.
And yet, you get this eerie feeling you have seen it 47 times before.
Oh, man. Yeah. We have all been there. It is basically the absolute curse of the algorithm.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. I am really glad you are joining us today.
So glad to be here.
We are exploring AI design today, and more specifically, how to stop it from being so aggressively predictable.
Right. Because today we are exploring this really brilliant 5-step workflow for ChatGPT. Instead of begging the AI to, be more creative and just getting the exact same design in a slightly different color, we are going to learn how to trick it.
Trick it into true originality.
Exactly. And the way we do this is actually completely counterintuitive.
How so?
Well, we do it by forcing it to be boring first.
I love this concept.
Oh.
But before we get into the solution, we should probably unpack the problem.
Definitely.
We need to talk about the make it creative trap, because I think that is where basically everyone starts.
It is exactly where they start. You ask ChatGPT for a design concept.
Yeah.
It spits out something deeply average. You look at it, you frown, and you reply, make it more creative.
I have to admit something here.
Oh, boy.
I still wrestle with prompt drift myself.
Really?
Yeah, where I just keep typing, make it pop or be edgier until it is just a neon mess.
Aww.
I know better, but it is such a natural human habit.
It totally is.
We think vague enthusiasm equals a better result.
We all do it. We treat the machine like a human artist. We think it understands abstract enthusiasm,
Right.
what actually happens under the hood. It gives you the exact same outfit. It just puts it in a different color.
The font changes a tiny bit. The gradient gets, mathematically stronger.
Yeah.
Maybe the UI cards get more rounded.
Oh, absolutely. And ChatGPT will confidently tell you this is a fresh and highly unique design.
Which it is not.
No, it
Yeah.
is not. It is just the same underlying structural skeleton wearing a slightly lighter shirt.
Now, I know everyone loves Claude for writing right now.
Yeah.
My own instinct would normally be to jump into Claude for complex reasoning, but our sources actually specify ChatGPT here.
They do, yeah.
So why does ChatGPT win this specific workflow?
Well, Claude is fantastic for nuanced text, but for generating direct, iterative visual systems in this specific structured loop, ChatGPT leaves Claude eating dust.
Really, just entirely.
Yeah. The way ChatGPT integrates with its image generation and holds on to rigid mathematical system instructions across a long multimodal context window, that is precisely what makes this 5-step process work.
Which brings us to the mechanics of the prompt.
Right.
Vague prompts are essentially like giving a painter a canvas but no edges. The AI just gets entirely lost in its own data.
Exactly. If the context is too vague, ChatGPT just fills the gaps probabilistically.
It goes to the safest bets.
Always. It defaults to the safest, most common choices in its training data. That is why everything looks like a Canva template.
So step one is defining the AI design target explicitly.
Very explicitly.
And I mean explicitly, before you even mention visuals or aesthetics, you must set the rigid boundaries of the business.
You have to tell it exactly who this is for. You define the industry. You define the target demographic. You establish the core impression you want to leave.
We were talking about the product context,
Right?
the brand positioning, and crucially, any visual directions you already know you absolutely do not want.
Exactly. If we look at a classic example from the sources, a brand for a cafe.
Okay, let's use that.
If you just type make a modern cafe brand, that is way too broad.
We all know what happens then. ChatGPT immediately runs to the safest zone imaginable.
Yep. Beige colors.
A minimalist serif font.
Yeah.
A logo that is just, a stylized coffee bean or a steaming cup.
It looks very artisanal, very clean.
Yeah.
But you have seen it on every street corner for the last 10 years.
So we lock it down. We tell it, this is a small, high-volume urban cafe.
Nice and specific.
It targets professionals in their 20s and early 30s. The core impression should be casual, bold, and slightly unexpected.
And then you add the negative constraints right up front. You tell it, avoid luxury hotel vibes.
Right.
Avoid that overly rustic, reclaimed wood coffee branding.
But wait, if we know exactly what we want the brand to feel like,
Yeah.
why shouldn't we demand a highly unique, out-of-the-box design right here in step one?
Because without constraints, forcing creativity early just makes the AI panic and revert to the safest templates it knows. It doesn't actually know what unique means without a baseline.
Right, so forcing early creativity just triggers safe, templated panic.
Exactly. You have to build the playground first, which takes us to step 2.
Step 2.
Where we do the exact opposite of what feels natural.
This is the part that fascinated me.
Yeah.
Your brief is locked in, the audience is clear.
Yep.
And now you explicitly asked the smartest machine on earth for a cliché.
You literally prompt it to generate the design it would normally produce 9 times out of 10.
You demand the safest, most painfully obvious direction.
You really do.
I was thinking about this from a philosophical angle. We are essentially asking the machine to show us its reflexes.
Okay.
Beat. It is fascinating to systematically map its default neural pathways.
That is a brilliant way to put it. You are forcing it to externalize the mathematical average of its training data.
Right.
But the trick here is you don't just ask for a quick summary. You demand the full, comprehensive visual system.
We want the color palette,
Yes.
the typography hierarchy, the logo direction, layout rules.
Photography style, packaging, materials, common motifs. You want the entire mood board mapped out in text.
And crucially, you ask the AI to explain its own choices.
You have to.
Like, why are these specific colors commonly used for urban cafes? Why this font?
Right. You want it to articulate why it feels predictable. You have it summarize the repeated visual patterns that make this specific output a stereotype.
But let me play devil's advocate for a second.
Go for it.
We are spending time and tokens generating something we know we hate. Does staring at this totally predictable, boring stereotype actually help the human driving the prompt?
Absolutely, because it externalizes all the cliches, making it incredibly obvious what visual crutches you need to actively dodge in the next step. You cannot fight an invisible enemy.
Yeah, seeing the cliché mapped out makes it easier to spot what is missing.
And that realization is the entire foundation for step 3.
The avoid lists.
Exactly. We take that boring AI design and we weaponize it. We turn it into a strict avoid list.
This is where the magic really starts happening.
It really does.
We recognize the predictable output. Let's say it gave us that cream background, the serif font, the clean, minimalist photography.
We do not throw that output away.
No.
We use it as structural fuel. We build an impenetrable mathematical fence around the cliché.
You explicitly write a prompt that says, review the stereotypical design above. Turn it into a clear avoid list.
And you ask it to categorize that list.
You group it by colors, typography, layout, imagery, and overall branding style.
Yes. Everything organized.
This is such a powerful concept. It immediately reminds me of the philosophy of via negativa.
Oh, improvement by subtraction.
Exactly. We are defining the masterpiece by chiseling away everything that is boring.
That is exactly what is happening under the hood. You are actively countering the baseline model behavior.
Let me just clarify that term for everyone.
Sure.
Baseline model behavior. That is the default habits the AI uses when lazy.
Spot on. Left to its own devices, a large language model wants to be lazy.
It really does.
It is literally designed to give you the most probable, mathematically average answer.
So by giving it an avoid list, we are placing negative weights on those probable paths.
Yes, we are building a fence against the average.
But there is a rule here, right?
A critical rule, yeah. While you are walling off the visual cliches, you must command the AI to keep the original target audience entirely unchanged.
The business goal stays the same.
Exactly.
The core impression stays the same. We're only banning the lazy visual execution of those goals.
But you might be wondering, why go through all this trouble?
So what happens if you skip making this strict list and just tell it to think outside the box?
The AI just shifts from one predictable style to a slightly different predictable style because the word different is too vague for it to process structurally.
Different is vague.
Yeah.
An avoid list builds a hard mathematical wall.
Exactly. Outside the box just means move to the second most common Pinterest board in my database.
Right.
The avoid list destroys the box entirely.
Which brings us to step 4. Generating different directions.
The fun part.
The walls of cliché are finally blocked off.
The AI is now forced into uncharted territory. It has to navigate around the massive avoid list you just dropped in the middle of its latent space.
You prompt ChatGPT to create 5 clearly different visual design directions.
5 is a great structural number.
It is.
It forces genuine variety without overwhelming the context window, but the rules still strictly apply.
Same audience, same core impression.
Yep.
The only thing changing is the visual language.
You have to explicitly instruct the model. every direction must move away from the stereotypical patterns in the avoid list.
Right.
Do not replace one predictable style with another predictable style.
For each of those 5 directions, you demand extreme specificity.
Extreme.
A clear concept name, the main creative idea driving it.
Color direction. Typography rules. The logo approach.
Layout structures.
Main graphic elements and materials.
You want to see real structural differences here, not just a font swap.
And here is the genius part of the prompt architecture.
Tell me.
Before it shows you any of these directions, it must internally check its own work.
Oh, wow.
It has to cross-reference its new ideas against the avoid list.
So if it catches a predictable pattern sneaking in, it must revise it internally before outputting the final text to you.
Whoa. Just imagine scaling that. Generating 5 completely distinct, fully realized brand systems in seconds, all rigorously pre-checked for originality. It is wild.
It is staggering. It completely changes the creative pipeline from generating ideas to curating systems.
Once the text is dialed in, you have ChatGPT generate a visual presentation for each concept so you can compare them fairly.
You are looking at the actual design cohesion now. But I do have a concern here.
What is that?
How do we stop the AI from subtly altering our target demographic just to make its new, weird design fit better?
You have to explicitly command it in the prompt to anchor the audience completely, forcing only the visual aesthetics to shift. You don't let it change the customer to fit the art.
Got it. Anchor the audience completely, so only the aesthetics are forced to shift.
Once you have those 5 distinct audience-anchored directions, we move into the final stage. Step 5.
Step 5 is refinement. The wild exploration phase is over.
Yes.
We have found our anomaly, and now we have to turn it into a reliable system.
You review the 5 options. You look for the one that pushes the furthest away from the baseline while still actually solving the business problem.
There's a really important warning in the sources here.
Oh, definitely.
Don't just pick something unusual if it is too hard to use in real life.
That is a crucial point for any designer listening. Weird for the sake of weird is not good design. It has to be highly functional.
It is like stacking Lego blocks of data into a stable, usable structure.
Exact.
A crazy asymmetrical logo might look cool in a prompt, but if it doesn't fit on a coffee cup or an app icon, it fails.
I love that Lego analogy. You are building out the functional reality of the brand. Once you choose the strongest direction, you feed that decision back to ChatGPT.
You say, we are moving forward with direction 3.
Right.
Keep the main creative idea, but now refine it.
You ask it to flesh out the entire functional system, logo variations for different formats,
Balanced color system,
typography hierarchy for headers and body copy.
packaging design, signage, interface details. You ask ChatGPT to create 3 refined variations of this single chosen direction.
Each of these 3 variations should feel like they belong to the exact same brand. You are not asking for new concepts anymore.
No, you are stress testing the chosen concept.
And again, you must force it to check every single variation against the avoid list from step 3.
Because the predictable patterns always want to sneak back in.
It is gravitational pull. You have to actively guard against them during refinement.
So what do you do if one of the 3 refined variations starts subtly slipping back into those familiar cliches despite the guardrails?
You have to immediately intervene and pull ChatGPT back to the original concept from step 1, reinforcing the avoid list heavily in your next prompt.
Makes sense. Just pull it back to the core concept immediately. Don't let it drift.
When you execute this step correctly, you end up with a highly original, structurally sound brand system.
And you can actually use it across real-world applications without losing the core identity.
Exactly.
Let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture of what we just did.
The core philosophy of this entire workflow is endlessly fascinating to me.
Yeah.
You cannot just command a machine to be creative.
It simply does not work.
Yeah.
If you want true originality from an AI, you first have to let it show you its most boring, predictable answer.
You have to patiently map the cliche. You have to understand the mathematical average.
And then you have to wall it off completely.
By building that fence, you force the system down the road less traveled.
Sometimes the fastest, most effective way to innovation is explicitly defining the boring.
You aren't asking for vague creativity anymore. You are architecting a very specific negative space.
You've shown the AI what must stay anchored and exactly what is forbidden.
It completely changes how you think about prompting. It moves you from being a requester to being a director.
It really does.
Huh?
Which brings me to a final thought I want to leave you with today.
Oh, this is a good one.
Think about this for a second. Beat. If an AI naturally defaults to the average of all human design.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't that mean our own human brainstorming sessions are probably just as predictable?
It is a genuinely sobering thought. Human brains want to be lazy, too.
Right.
We are just as prone to leaning on cliches when we are staring at a blank whiteboard.
Exactly. So next time you have a human team meeting, try something new.
Yeah.
Try making an avoid list of your industry's most boring cliches. Do it together as a team before anyone is allowed to pitch a single idea.
I guarantee your human meetings will get much more creative, much faster.
Because at the end of the day, you look at a layout. It is clean. It is polished. But you never again want that eerie feeling you have seen it 47 times before.
Never again.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We will catch you next time.